Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and I'm here today to talk to you about Pixar doesn't want to make any more movies that are diverse. Although they don't say that, instead they use other words and stuff. They use words like they don't want to make movies that have to do with a director's biographical experiences in life. Basically, they just don't want no woke movies and everything. So, once again, just like I said a couple of months ago, these studios are going to start reverting back to the all white. They want to make movies that are just focusing on predominantly like white characters, to where diverse characters are not the main focal point. Instead, they'll probably play like a background character or the best friend or something like that, and it'll probably go back to being as stereotypical as it used to be back in the day. Now, Pixar, well, here's the thing. Disney is the parent company of Pixar. And I don't care what Bob Iger says when he said they're committed to telling diverse stories. I didn't believe him now. I didn't believe him back then. And I won't believe him in the future when he says that. Because Bob Iger's whole thing is about fixing what Bob Chapek did and making Disney profitable again so that the mass audience will start buying tickets and everything again. So basically, he's cleaning things up to look all nice and tidy, so when his contract expires, he'll get a big payday and everything. The only reason why he said that is because people like Ron DeSantis went after Disney, and his whole presidential campaign was destroying the woke, which Disney destroyed him. He will not be president and everything because that's the only thing he was focused on. And Disney won their lawsuit against that dude and everything. And so because of that, because of people like politicians, the YouTubers, and just their minions and everything, they're starting to once again win the fight against diversity. See, people always want to blame diversity for when a movie does not work out well. Because Pixar said they want to make a movie that has broad mass appeal, aka so that white people will start going to the theater again and start watching their movies because they get turned off whenever they see something diverse. When it's a person of color, oh, they turned off. When it's a woman, oh, they turned off. When there's like, an innuendo of like an LGBT character, oh, they're turned off and everything. They think it's grooming their kids and this and that. They think you're shoving their political message down their throat and everything because they mention movies like Luca that revolves around Italian people and everything. Movies like Turning Red, where the main characters are Chinese and everything. And I already just talked about that movie. Like the main characters are Chinese, then the other characters are Indian, Jewish, and Korean. And one of the girls in there looks like a lesbian. And oh no, that's terrible and everything. They mention movies like Soul. Oh, the main character's black. Jeez, we gotta run away from that and everything. And it's funny how they talked about those movies because those movies were directed by the race that they depicted in the movie: a black person, a Chinese person, and an Italian person. For Turning Red, the director said she looked at her own upbringing as a teenager going through puberty and everything. That's what this movie is about. Feeling different and feeling like a monster and everything, as you're going through puberty and everything. I haven't even watched Soul and Luca yet, but it's an Italian director and a black director talking about a black man and some Italian kids, and I bet you anything they talked about like their experiences in life. And oh no, can't have that in everything. We gotta tell stories that have a very bleak, vanilla appeal to them and everything. And I've said this before. Hollywood tried to profit off of diversity. But then once all those angry white dudes on YouTube with their anti-woke messages started to be a louder voice than the diverse content that was getting pushed out, Then they started having little goons, minions, and everything to do their bidding online. You'll go on Twitter and you'll see some random white dude screaming, "Stop race bending these characters and stop trying to groom our kids with these gay characters and everything." You read that stuff. There's a reason why I'm saying these phrases, because these are phrases that I have read online and everything. And like this whole George Lucas thing now in diversity and women, because they complain that, Star Wars fans tend to get very like upset whenever there's like a strong female character or a diverse character in their Star Wars project. And one comment I read, when somebody's all like, why does George Lucas and Kathleen Kennedy, why are they scared of men? That's not what this is all about. They want to move away from having predominantly white male characters in Star Wars, because that's what it was in the original trilogy and then the second trilogy. So for the third trilogy, they tried to change that, and they've been trying to change that ever since. Because when you go back and look at those Star Wars movies, they're as white can be. And just because you threw in Billy D. Williams as Lando don't mean squat. And just because you had Princess Leia be like the only female in the entirety of that trilogy, that don't mean squat and everything. And so they get angry every time they see stuff like that. And YouTube is to blame for this as well, because they allow these angry little anti-woke dudes and females to scream the word woke as many times as they can, talking about how Hollywood's replacing the white man and blah, 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 and blah, 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 and stuff like that. And all in the sake of, the First Amendment that only appeals to them and them only. And YouTube allows this, and they could care less what they talk about. They do it because it boosts their profile up. More people subscribe, more people watch, more people click, more people like, more people add money to their Patreons. So YouTube profits off that crap, and so they don't care what these people say and everything. But these people are having an effect on the dumb-witted people that listen to their content. The people are like, oh, they're talking, they're making sense and everything. So let me go on Twitter and scream the word woke. And then it reaches these politicians and everything. You got Ted Cruz got triggered from Star Trek Discovery Season 4 when Stacey Abrams played the president of Earth. She was only there for a minute and he got triggered by that. She hasn't even won an election and he's triggered by that. Then you got other people of color, who comment on stuff like that. They're triggered. Like this one dude talking about, it's not fair that you had Stacey Abrams on Star Trek, but why haven't you have a person on the other side of the political aisle on Star Trek as well? That's not even what this is about and everything. And there's this one dude who literally always makes fun of diverse people on Star Trek. If it's a heavy-set person, he'll make fun of that person. If it's a woman, he makes fun of that person. If it's a person of color, he makes fun of that person, and he gives them names. But yet he has never once complained about a white male on Star Trek. Never. Even if the white male is a terrible character, he has never once made fun of them. He has never once talked bad about them, give them a nickname, nothing like that. But he has defended us all like, why is it always the angry, evil white male and everything? He also makes fun of the LGBT community, but yet he claims he loves everybody. No, he doesn't. Either he is a bigot or he's doing it for the money, because he knows dumb-witted people will listen to his content and they won't listen to it if he's not making fun of these people. And no, he's not white. He's a person of color himself and everything. So it's people like that is literally ruining crap for people who want to watch TV shows and movies. Then you got their minions going online complaining about stuff like that. You got politicians chiming in and making things worse. And then you got people like Piers Morgan bringing on YouTubers to complain about woke media and everything. And once it reaches somebody like him, it's all over then. Because they're getting this huge platform to spread hate and to brainwash people. And they're outnumbering the people who's trying to combat it, and they're outnumbering that of the studios that is actually trying to trying to teach like diverse content and stuff. And so when you have like all of this like negativity and everything, it's gonna affect things like movie sales and TV streaming and broadcast ratings and stuff like that. They are a part of the problem, these YouTubers. YouTube itself is the second part. And the third part is just Hollywood itself, because Hollywood itself didn't never care about diverse content. They just wanted to make money. But once they wasn't making money no more, now they want to get away from it. And the problem is, when you make diverse content, you need to make extreme sure that you got a good writer, a good director, a good producer, a good showrunner, and good actors. The problem is, they're not hiring these people. They're getting newbies and everything who don't know how to cook in the kitchen. So when these projects do bad, the first thing they want to blame is diverse content. But then you got a movie like Mad Max Furiosa, Fall Guy, and that are predominantly white and have white leads. They do bad, but you don't see them complaining about it. But then when they want to complain about it, they're like, oh, it has a female in it, so let's complain about it. Because they gotta find something to complain about just so they won't be called bigots and racists and all this other crap and prejudice. But it's what they are. I don't know why they get upset when people call them that crap. But see, the studio, they don't want to tell what the real culprit is for why Soul, Luca, and that of Turning Red did terrible at the box office. It's because of the pandemic, not wokeness and everything. The pandemic screwed up all those movies, especially Turning Red, to where the studio had to give the lead actress her own audio equipment to put in her house and turned her room into a makeshift studio audio place and everything. This was the real culprit, but they don't want to admit to that. They just want to make the angry white people happy and everything, to give them an excuse to be happy again, be like, oh, y'all gonna fix this, we're gonna go to the movie theater again, great, and everything. Stuff like this irritates me so much, because when a white project does bad, they don't blame white people for those projects. They don't blame the white characters. They try to find other reasons to blame things. And because Hollywood doesn't know how to write diverse content, because they've never experienced diverse people, I'm talking about the white like writers and directors and stuff, because they've never experienced like too many diverse people, and then they bring in diverse people to write for them, and their rookies don't know how to do it. Then they do the check mark system, and you can so tell when something's checked off. I've mentioned some of this stuff before because it gets on my nerves and everything. They just start checking things off a box, like Star Trek Discovery. They've added so many people of the LGBT community, both in terms of actors, actresses, and characters, but they don't do nothing with them. They're literally just there standing around, or they just disappear from the show. And they make a big announcement that they've added these type of people, but then they don't do nothing with these people. And they did that so they can get brownie points and everything. And when you do stuff like that, people can see through your fakeness and everything. And there's been so many things that are just as fake can be when they try to shove in diverse content into something and they don't want to do nothing with it and stuff. Or like it just becomes very like apparent. Like take Blue Beetle. I tried to watch that. I stopped after like 20 minutes or so. I stopped after he put the suit on and ran around town and stuff like that. Why did I stop it? Because the movie was never about Blue Beetle. It was about Jaime Reyes' family. And Jaime Reyes is a Latino character. He has a Latino family. I've known that for the longest time. I don't care. I like Jaime Reyes and stuff like that. I like Blue Beetle. I'm here to see Blue Beetle. I'm not here to see his family. all throughout the movie, and his family helping him out on the battlefield, defeating like the bad guys. That's not a superhero movie. A superhero movie is not a family movie. It is where the superhero is supposed to defeat the bad guy, not the family coming in to help defeat the bad guy. And George Lopez ruined that movie for me because he overacted, and every scene he was in, he tried to be like, the scene stealer and everything. And it was not his movie. It was the Cobra Kai kids movie. And it just drove me nuts because this is what I've been seeing a lot in superhero content. That's what happened in Echo. Echo's about an indigenous woman. And so it was all about like her family and everything. I did not come here to watch a supervillain television show where she's trying to redeem herself about her family and her family helping her defeat the bad guys. I'm here to see her do that and everything. And there was another superhero something that did that too. I can't remember exactly what it was. But it's like you don't even see like the superheroes fighting the bad guys by themselves. Most of the time now it's about family. This is not the Fast and the Furious and everything, And like the whole Little Mermaid thing. I'm cool with a black mermaid. I'm tired of people getting angry about a black mermaid. But they kept checking off everything they could off the list because they wanted her family to be multiracial and everything. Her dad is Hispanic. Her sisters are every race there is in the world. The prince is adopted. He has a black mother. Don't know what the dad looks like, and it's just like it's cool to have like interracial couples, but the whole movie is all about that and stuff. So instead of fixing that, Hollywood's all like, oh, let's just like get rid of these coming of age animation movies because those three movies, Soul, Luca, and Turning Red, are coming of age for people of color. They want to go back to things like Toy Story and like Inside Out and what's that thing, Cars and Planes, where there are no races. It's just anthropomorphic like things and everything like that. And that's fine, but why can't we have both? And then another problem is when you have all these prominent actors and directors who are all white complaining about diverse content and stuff. You have Richard Dreyfuss or something like that complaining he wants to throw up whenever he sees diverse stuff in like movies. You have John Musker, who directed Aladdin, Hercules, Moana, and stuff like that, who's talking about, oh, they need to do a course correction. They need to tell their stories first and do wokeness second. Or like, it's an agenda and stuff like that. When you have people like that who are prominent in Hollywood complaining, then of course the masses are going to hear, the studios are going to hear. So, when Hollywood, they're going to make those actors and directors happy because they want them in their projects. And so that means getting rid of the wokeness, they will. And it's just crappy because I don't want things going back to the way it was. Everything was way too vanilla and everything. Everything was way too stereotypical when it came to people of color. If the people of color even showed up in those projects. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.